There's a truth in this simple idea when faced with a hard decision. Flip a coin. Why? Because if the coin lands on heads and you're silently disappointed it wasn't tails, you know which decision you need to make. Aluxers, we've all come to a point in our lives when we have to make a tough choice. Some of you might already have made tough decisions, and some might still be in the pipeline. But just know that no one is exempt from making hard choices in life. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. Number 1. Do you study further or just start working? Aluxers, we know this is a hard choice to make, and unfortunately, we can't make it for you. We suggest writing a list of pros and cons for either decision. Pro for studying further, you could find a higher paying job when you're finished studying. A con of studying further, your student loan will take longer to pay off. Pro for working over studying, you start to earn money right away, if you're lucky enough to find a job. Con for working instead of studying, it's very difficult to get back into studying if you've decided to further your education later. Truthfully, there is no right or wrong decision. You have to do what works best for you at the time. If you can accept that part, you leave little room for regret about either decision you make. Number 2. Do you follow your passion or do you follow the money? They say money can't buy happiness, but it can buy you, well, you fill in the gaps, Aluxers. It's not a completely bad idea to follow the money. Just don't lose who you are when you do it. Take your passions and your strengths with you and learn to love what you do. If you're going to find a job every day that literally sucks out your soul, it's time to rethink things. And Aluxers, it's never too late to make a change. If your passion isn't putting food on the table and you're constantly fraught with anxiety because you don't know where your next paycheck is coming, that passion will quickly become a nightmare. Instead, you could follow the money and have a side hustle where you let your passion shine. Money is often the means you need to fund your passion, and that's okay. Balance is everything, and with time, you will strike your perfect balance. Number 3. Where do you choose to settle? In the words of Selena Gomez, the heart knows what it wants. But in the case of deciding where to settle, what if the heart doesn't know what it wants? What then? Once you see things in black and white, it can help tremendously in making the decision. For starters, what kind of budget do you have? No point wanting to live in Knightsbridge if your budget is screaming shepherd's bush. What are the taxes like? Can you get to work easily? In fact, Aluxers, we've got you covered in our video 15 questions to answer before relocating. Be sure to watch it to help you make your very difficult choice. Number 4. Will you get married or cohabitate? To marry or not to marry, that is the question. And with the changing landscape of our world now, many people are opting for the latter. There are many decisions why this hard choice is cropping up more frequently than previous decades. Women and men are looking to be educated and financially stable before entering marriage, which often delays marriage. By that time, many partners have already been living together unmarried, so choose to remain that way. There are more laws than there used to be protecting rights of couples that are cohabitating and not married. Plus, it could save legal costs down the line if shit hits the fan. Number 5. Will you get a prenup if you do choose to get married? Hey Luxers, we get it. You've made the decision to get married and you literally have stars in your eyes every time you look at your partner. Then it's time to start making some decisions about your prenup before the big day, and you're both so in love you genuinely believe it's not needed because you'll be together forever. Well, consider what Alec Baldwin said. If you do get married, get a prenup. It's not about money. It's about having a document that states how you'll dissolve your marriage while you still have a shred of respect for each other. Number 6. Do you want to have children or not? No doubt about it, deciding whether to have children or not is a tough decision. People might tell you you'll regret it later in life if you don't have a baby, but if you've thought it through and you're at peace with your decision, you won't have regrets later in life. The thing with having a child is you can write pros and cons till you're blue in the face, but nothing will prepare you for having that child. There are so many unknowns. Leaving it to fate is not advisable by experts because that will leave you doubtful at times, especially when you're struggling or having a low episode once baby is already there. It's not like you can send them back to where they came from. At least if you've made a decision either for or against children, your decision is substantiated, and you can lean on that when you're feeling wobbly. We recommend listening to 15 Things to Know Before Having a Baby on Audible using our link, Alux.com/freebook. Number 7. When will you start your family? Hey Luxers, as if making the decision to have children or not wasn't enough, now it's time to decide when you're going to have children. Most people like to have everything in place. You're the right age. Check. Nice house with a garden. Check. Steady income. Check. Great relationship. Check. Reliable car. Check. But the reality is, you could have all of your boxes ticked. There's never really a right or wrong time to begin your family. Some will advise you to just enjoy yourself, and if it happens naturally, great. Ask anyone who's tried to make a baby according to a tight time schedule, and you'll soon realize how the novelty can quickly wear off. Number 8. How do you raise your children? Having a baby is a huge game changer in relationships, and as cute and adorable as what babies are, they can cause havoc in a once calm and peaceful environment. Getting used to a lack of sleep is one thing, but there are so many other variables that people don't consider when having a baby, and one of them is how to raise your child. You could be one of those people who leans toward free-range parenting, but your partner is more the helicopter type of individual. The best way to make this decision is to ensure you and your partner hash it out before the kids arrive. If you're not on the same page, then get counseling or guidance so that by the time the baby arrives, you're well on your way to making great parenting decisions together. Number 9. Do you use tough love when your child is clearly on a path of destruction? It's not a great thing to think about, but what if your adult child is abusing substances and you've helped them out time and time again to get clean, but to no avail? Where do you draw the line and stop helping them? Are you enabling them by getting them out of their shit all the time? What if it's 2 a.m. and you receive a pitiful call from your adult child who's been locked up for drunk driving and needs bail? Do you rush over and pay it, no questions asked? Or do you let your kids spend the night in jail to learn a lesson? What if your adult child is always borrowing money from you? Do you keep giving it, and when will enough be enough? It's a hard question to ask yourself because it's natural for a parent to not want their child to suffer. But if you look ahead, the awkward, uncomfortable feeling you have now will be far better than a broke-ass adult who lost their license and relies on narcotics just to get through a day. Number 10. When do you walk away or try harder? This is the crossroad of all crossroads, and we've all been there. You're always putting in more effort than your partner. You're feeling drained and exhausted all the time. You've lost your identity somewhere along the way. You avoid coming home or feel happy when your partner is away. You continually try to fix a repetitive problem, but you keep going in circles. If you've tried therapy, counseling, and open communication with your partner and nothing has helped, well, perhaps it's time to close this chapter of the book. Number 11. Do you cut out toxic people in your life, including family? In our video, 15 of the most thought-provoking questions, we asked the same question. Who's the one person you wish you could cut out from your life but are too afraid to? And we said we completely understand how difficult it is to cut out toxic people from our lives because we are so wrapped with guilt, fear, and worry about what people will think. You know a toxic person, the one that leaves you drained after spending even just a few minutes in their company, or the one doing all the work in the relationship, or you find you can't be yourself in their company. Then it's best to cut your losses and walk on. Again, only you can make that decision, and you'll know when you're ready. Number 12. Will you rent or buy property? Aluxers, we've got you properly covered for this hard choice in our video, Renting a Home versus Buying a Home. We've highlighted the good and bad of both. Your home offers you security, the right to paint and drill to your heart's content. It's a good long-term investment. You can take a loan from your bond. However, it's a huge financial outlay. The interest is astronomical, and you'll be liable to fix everything that goes wrong. And when you're a homeowner, that list is never-ending. Renting is great for flexibility. You're not tied down to the property or area forever, but you can't make changes to the property if you're not happy with something. Annual rent fluctuations are out of your control, and there's little housing security. So make sure to take the time and weigh up the options to see what best suits your lifestyle. Number 13. Do you pursue a relationship even though others disapprove? Perhaps you've fallen in love with someone of a different religion to you, a different race. You've fallen in love with someone of the same sex. Now what? Your auntie and uncle are ashamed, your mom and dad can't understand what they did wrong, and you've been told on more than one occasion that your late grandmother would be turning in her grave. You're in love with someone that fits you perfectly, and most importantly, you're happy. And we'll repeat that last line, and most importantly, you're happy. We think you know the answer for this one. Number 14. Do you stay in a relationship for the sake of the children? This is a tough one to make, and it's not going to be the last time someone will have to make it. Experts believe that if the child is witness to abuse, fighting, anger, frustration, or pain, it's best to walk away. Children grow up thinking that's the correct way to behave in a relationship, and they end up having destructive relationships themselves as adults. We can't know the journey or reason for each divorce, but we know that things must be tough to get to that place. Aluxers, seek guidance or counseling if you're battling with this decision. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. It takes courage to admit you're not coping, and we at Alux want you to be healthy and mentally strong. And finally, Aluxers, this must be the worst and toughest decision anyone will ever need to make. Number 15. Do you switch off the life support machine? If you've been here before, you will understand why we left this last. It's the most awful decision you'll ever have to make, and sadly, it sits with you for the rest of your life. You'll have lots of "but what ifs" and "maybe I should have waited one more day" circulating around in your brain. We hope that if you've ever been faced with this decision, you have a team of loved ones by your side, and we wish you peace, strength, and acceptance. So, Aluxers, what is the most difficult decision you've ever had to make in life? We so appreciate your feedback. Now, since you stuck with us until the end of this heavy video, we've got a bonus for you. Here's how to make difficult decisions quickly and without regret. Give yourself time to ponder on the decision. Write down your pros and cons. See if the decision aligns with your values. Ask a friend and let your hopes guide you. Thanks for watching, Aluxers. We'll chat again tomorrow. Remember to subscribe and receive notifications so you can be alerted at the moment a video is up. Till next time.